Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy GZTV. We are back at it with another video. And yeah, I know I have my LED lights on, but it's like legit nighttime outside. It's like raining like a motherfucker. And yeah, it's gonna suck going to class, but it is what it is. So yeah, we have the plot and the critical reception. This is the fallout of the Season 8 mid-season finale. Yeah, so obviously, I'm just gonna put this out of the way. Rest in peace, Carl, man. That's a tough character to lose, but of course they had to start killing off characters eventually. Following Negan and the Savior's assault on the communities of Alexandria, the Kingdom, and the Hilltop Convoy, Rick, obviously played by the wonderful Andrew Lincoln, and his allies deal with the aftermath of events. That's usually what happens, like at the start of every mid-season finale. It's like a reflection or something. I don't know. They do it every time, and it gets kind of corny, but it is what it is. In a flashback, Carl, having been bitten by a walker while trying to bring Sadiq to Alexandria, keeps his bite mark hidden, makes sure Sadiq finds quarters in the sewers below the community, spends time with his toddler sister Judith, and writes several letters to those he knows because he knows, obviously, with being bitten, he is going to die very soon. So, yeah. So in the present, while Gavin and the other saviors of his group keep watch over Ezekiel inside the kingdom, outside Carol has led the survivors far enough away and instructed them to continue towards the house she used outside of the kingdom for shelter while she goes back to rescue Ezekiel. This is when she wasn't really a big fan of the kingdom and she wanted to get away for a little bit. So that's kind of what that was. Harry, who is trained in both firearm and melee combat, and whose older brother Benjamin had been killed by Jared, a savior, insists that he come along to assist, but Carol orders him to stay with the others again. It's a big trope in the show for like the kids to want to try to fight because it makes sense. I mean, like, you're just sitting there desperately watching people get killed. You probably want to help eventually, but obviously they can't let him help. Unless it like really comes down to it, which he does something later in the episode. He helps, trust me. Rick and Michonne regroup with all the other Alexandria survivors and the Storm Seers and come to learn of Carl's impending death. They find out he's been bitten. Like, why would you do that? Why would you? Like, Rick kind of has this look on his face, like, son, why would you do that? Why would you do this for this Sadiq guy? But at the same time, he's proud of his son. This is a good way for his son to go out. He helped a starving man that had no resort, and yeah. They decide to wait until Negan's assault is over and then head off to the hilltop to regroup. So they're like still bombing, still shooting at things. Once they leave, they can retreat to the hilltop, which Negan doesn't really care about. It's not really a major community. Rick knows Carl will not survive the journey, and he and Michonne remain with Carl. They'll just stay here in Alexandria, and he'll die here. Before leading the rest away, Daryl commends Carl on their survival due to Carl's intent to stay out of the war with the Saviors and the preparations he had made. I mean, he pretty much saved them. Like, he made a distraction. He allowed everyone to get to the sewers. I mean, he's a good kid, honestly. I mean, he's honestly a good man at this point because he's pretty much grown by the time he died. Sorry, I have like hair sticking up back there. It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Carl and Rick spend much time discussing the past. Carl explains why he brought Sadiq here and how he felt remorse for having killed a youth back during their time in the prison. Rick forgives him for these past transgressions. He wants to kind of get everything off his chest before he leaves this world, you know. Carol meets up with Morgan, who had escaped the Savior's massacre of Rick's snipers watching the sanctuary. Pretty much the rest of them died. Pretty much everyone in the kingdom, but give or take, like 10 people died. However, Morgan has become bitter, and once the two are inside the kingdom, he becomes brutal in dispatching the Saviors. Like, Morgan keeps shifting from this peaceful guy to just this very aggressive person. It's kind of interesting how it happens. At one point during the mission, Morgan disembowels the Saviors. Carol and a rescued Ezekiel watch. Like, what the hell has gotten into this guy? Like, it's kind of crazy. Gavin, the last savior of the group left alive, flees and attempts to hide, but Morgan easily finds him. Gavin's a pretty major character. He's one of like the major lieutenants or commanders for the Saviors, if you want to call him that. Morgan prepares to kill Gavin, but Carol senses that Morgan is conflicted and attempts to convince him to spare Gavin because this is going to get worse. if he just keeps doing this. A distressed Morgan balks, trying to decide what to do, when suddenly Gavin is stabbed through the neck from behind by Henry, who had followed Carol and is seeking revenge for the murder of his brother. I mean, Gavin was like the leader of that whole supply run mission where Henry died. Let's see. Not Henry, his brother. I can't remember his brother's name. As Rick and Michonne move Carl up to the church, Carl insists that Rick can become a better person. In his mind, shown in a dream sequence first seen episodes ago in Mercy, I think, Carl imagined his father in the future becoming compassionate rather than vengeful and devoting his time to raising their family and leading the Alexandria community. All survivors, including Negan, work together harmoniously to make Alexandria a thriving community in this dream. Carl truly believes his father has the power to do whatever he wants with this community and make it great. The next morning, in near death, Carl sends Rick and Michonne out of the church and shoots himself rather than force them to have to do it once he dies. Rick and Michonne prepare a burial site to lay Carl to rest. Yeah, man, it's really sad. This isn't going to be a long review, though. This is a good episode, and it's a good way to send Carl out. Got an 80%, 7.5 out of 10, 30 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Focusing on the farewell of one of the series' original characters, Honor delivers an emotional mid-season premiere. So, yeah, obviously no Carl in the coming seasons. This was a really short review, but your boy, I'm out. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Juicy TV is always giving you guys the best TV content. We are getting ready to do a review on the 2022 film The Whale, one of the better movies of that year, probably, featuring Brendan Fraser and Sadie Sink. So there's that, but have a good rest of your guys' day. Today I'm going to be watching Dexter, and late tonight I'm actually going to be watching the season premiere for Dave. So